Welcome to the Livestream DLR family, and we are reviewing protests in Washington, D.C., Sacramento, and Portland, Oregon. Feel free to indicate in the chat. Also, if you haven't subscribed to Black Global Reviews, go ahead and do so at this time. Be sure to set the post notification bell. When we do upload, you will receive an immediate notification. Thank you for your love and support, DLR family. Now pound up that like button, and of course, feel free to drop a comment below after the stream.
So you're the fucking sergeant? You're the sergeant, excuse me. Revolution Hall. So you're the fucking sergeant. What is your dumbass cause? You think you're fucking right. You need to do your goddamn job. You need to fix this shit. And you're very fucking disrespectful too, you piece of bitch. You need to fix this shit, bro. Like, for real. Do you care? Do you fucking care? Because you should fucking care, bro.
Ready? Yep. Move each other line. Tell them we're moving.
Yo, move, bitch.
Move back! 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 Move back!
I just threw a little baby tear gas.
Don't worry, I can love you my wife. You see us?
VS gas.
Get out of there! Hey, get out! Let's go! Let's go! Let's go! Take that badge up. Take that badge up.
Said take the badge off, and the cop said, "You don't want that." The protesters were just standing there. The cops rolled up, started arguing, not really de-escalating. Seemed like they were more escalating things. And then there were just some arguments between protesters and cops. And that one of the sergeants with those goggles in the back got kind of aggro. And then it just kind of escalated from there. There's several cop cars around. They took an umbrella. They took a couple poles from a flag. I don't bring my gimbal for these types of events, so I'm just like carrying my phone. Yeah, they're trying to exit the area, so they threw a little mini CS canister. Yeah, rough haul.
Move faster! Clear the vicinity! Disperse to the east, motherfucker!
coming back around.
Come back around to the other side, it looks like. Yeah, the one cop kept hitting people with his bike accidentally, but you could tell he was doing it on purpose. Yeah, everybody just got the cops to disperse. The cops were kind of surrounded.
He's deep in the streets, and he is a key figure.
Yep, they use a little police magic trick to leave.
So you go over and show him some support. Shout out to him. And thank you again for your support, Bill.
I'm gonna go see if they're on the other side. What about freight? But yeah, so this direct action protest, the flyer specifically says no streamers, but nobody messes with me if I stream and the cops are around.
Let's go, everybody regroup. Together, stay tight. Let's go. Everybody regroup.
I thought they were arresting the guy that had the big cops and KKK friends flag. You talking to me?
See that guy over there? See the
Yeah.
guy with the big mask?
Yeah.
For those of you just joining the stream, this is a Black Lives Matter protest, and we will be reviewing the law today on multi-screen. We're in Denver, Colorado, Washington, D.C., and Sacramento. Now, I'm not sure if we're going to go into Portland or not. So, we're checking that out. I'm not able to confirm that. I could have made a post earlier. Just know, so far we're going to be in Denver, D.C., and Sacramento.
Happy what the cops say.
Now, a lot of people thought that the Black Lives movement would cease once President Trump was ousted, removed, or his presidency simply ended. But clearly, that is not the case. The Black Lives Matter movement does not stand for either party. That's very well they shouldn't, because neither party has addressed the fact that we have close, it's got to be over 1,500 Black and indigenous people being murdered here in America. And not one politician has been on television complaining about this. Well, what do you think about this situation? I mean, it's really getting worse. More and more people are being murdered by the police, and the police seem to be above the law. No resolve.
We kill in these streets, and police not held accountable. No justice. No justice. We're all how they statistically and gleefully kill Elijah McClain. This is the white supremacy dictator. We're about white supremacy. White supremacy. Silence you. We will not let proud boys and white supremacists walk these streets without consequence. No justice. We will fight in these streets until we get justice for Elijah McClain, until we get justice for every black man killed at the hands of the police in America. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 1, 2, 3, out here fighting for the people. I'm saying these songs, every single person up there in the building watching us, y'all should be down here fighting too. Y'all should be down here fighting too. My child fight matter. My child fight matter. My child fight matter. My child life matters. His life matters, and that's what we out here fighting for. For Jesse Seville, for Elijah McClellan. For my mom, for every person in the town that goes back hundreds of years we walking these streets. Black lives, they matter here. Black lives, they matter here. Black lives, they matter here. Black lives, they matter here.
I heard a prop in there from my cousin being killed. Shout out to that protester. Rest in paradise, cousin.
That is very special to all
Continue
of
to
us.
rest in
We watched what Thomas Rabbit was murdered. He was executed. He was out on the streets every day like my baby fighting for Breonna Taylor. And we are going to say his words. We're going to feel his words. All right, everyone. Can I have your fists up in the air, please? Put your fists up! Fists up! Fists up! So this is a repeat after me type of thing, all right? We're going to do it once, and that's when we're learning it, and then we're going to do it twice. I want us to sound united. I want us to say with so much power. Got it? This is for Dragon! Oh, mama, aren't you proud?
Mama, aren't you proud?
Ain't no justice in this town.
Ain't no justice in this town.
No, ain't no justice in this town.
Ain't no justice in this town.
They locked us up, they put us down.
They locked us up, they put us down.
There ain't no justice in this town.
There ain't no justice in this town.
Papa, can't you see?
Papa, can't you see?
Today is not my day to die.
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 Papa, don't you cry.
Papa, don't you cry.
Today is not my day to die.
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 All right. How do we feel about that? One more time. I need y'all to put up all your ancestors, your strength, use your loud voices, get it together, all right? One more time. Mama, aren't you proud?
Mama, aren't you proud?
There ain't no justice in this town.
There ain't no justice in this town.
Lock us up and put us down.
They locked us up and put us down.
There ain't no justice in this town.
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 Papa, don't you cry.
Papa, don't you cry.
Today is not my day to die.
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 Today is not my day to die. Papa, don't you cry.
Papa, don't you cry.
Today is not my day to die.
Today is not my day to die.
Today is not my day to die.
Today is not my day to die. Today is not my day to die.
Wait, so let's keep this energy. Let's keep it pushing. All right, you ready? Let's keep marching.
We've seen his administration enact new, brutal economic sanctions against Iran, Venezuela, and many other countries, which critically endanger those countries' abilities to combat the ravages of COVID-19. We've seen his administration escalate tensions with China, leading to a significant increase in anti-Asian hate crimes here in the United States. We've seen his administration deepen ties with brutally repressive governments the world over. We've seen his administration continue to sharpen the practice of unleashing the same brutality that it wields against victim nations all over the world against Black, Indigenous, and immigrant lives here in the United States. With old Tito Benito on his way out, we can just call it a day and take it easy for the next 4 years, right? Hey, that was the right answer. Good work. So we in the Anti-War Committee aren't going to be taking it easy. We got our start during the Clinton administration in response to his bombing of Iraq in 1998. During the Obama administration, the homes of several AWC members were raided by the FBI specifically because of our anti-war and our international solidarity work. While we're as relieved as anybody to see Trump leave, our own experience with the Democratic Party tells us that we can't slow down and take it easy for the next 4 years. For one thing, Biden is inheriting the disastrous effects of the foreign policy actions taken by Donald Trump and his lackeys Mike Pompeo and Elliott Abrams, and every other slimy aggressor in the Trump cabinet. The U.S. under Trump has continued to provide support to the state of Saudi Arabia in their war against Yemen, a war that has killed tens of thousands of Yemenis.
The inauguration.
Grab a
Yeah, everybody can see it.
I would see almost every day on the media. Another trigger happy cop who got swallowed his top three for showing an innocent. The people like me, they're the ones that are here and the contract to take like that is not easy now. If you feel all the financial movement to the case, the Black queer community became part of the show for who they are, and the never get practice because of certain going here for me, and they put the dark queer community on the road. The type of actions now and being on the life in the street, and the events that triggering some motherfucking guns is the way we started to. No peace, no justice,
No peace! No justice! No peace! Take the street, fuck police! No justice! No peace!
If not, then they know what's coming, and at least we can say we won. We're protesting for human rights, so it should be clearly evident why we're out here doing what we do. And if we continue to be suppressed by law enforcement, then we're simply going to come at them even harder the next time. Every LAPD officer knows where he stands, and they have from the moment they put the badge on. Our police and sheriff departments are rampant with police gangs, and there's no way to roll killers without knowing them. That's exactly why every good cop face. That's exactly why every good cop's face is so full of shame, because they know that they're supporting the murderous force, and sold their soul basically off for a paycheck. So we're shining a light on the dirty cracks of our police force, and we've already uncovered enough to demand major action from our politicians. They know that they have to do this, and if we don't get it, if we don't get it, if we don't get it, free Tatiana Turner!
Free Tatiana Turner! Free Tatiana Turner!
Tatiana Turner is an organizer who's unjustly imprisoned right now, has been for months on $1.5 million bail. You can go to freetia 2020 to find out more.
Don't front.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
gotta drag people up there. Alright, no, really, I mean, we got some, inspiring people here, so don't make me pull teeth. Let me say a word about my union, Local 36. So we represent the roofers and waterproofers that do all of the large commercial and industrial projects in Los Angeles County. I'm the businessman. My name's Cliff, and I'm elected into this position by the members of my union. So we're a democratic organization. We're self-governed. We run our own union. We negotiate our own contracts. We handle our own conflicts and grievances internally in a democratic manner. We have an elected executive board, and we hire business agents out of the field, off the job sites, to monitor and police our industry and enforce the proper regulations and laws to protect our work. So I say that to say that I'm seeing that our executive board is elected. So because I'm elected, I have certain responsibilities to be able to take the resources of my union, like this microphone and sound system, and put it to work to serve the community. So when people get an idea that there's nothing that can be accomplished for a living, I can't agree with that. I served for 6 years on the neighborhood council, South Central Neighborhood Council, and we would get a budget from the city of $30,000 a year to serve the community with. Now, some of the neighborhood councils will turn around and give that to the police, but our neighborhood council took it to print signs when the police were doing attendance and checkpoints and impounding people's cars. They didn't have a proper driver's license, and we printed big 3-foot signs, fluorescent yellow paper, paid for by the city. And on Friday and Saturday night, we will go out to Florence and Broadway and Slauson and Figueroa in front of the checkpoints and stand and warn all the drivers, if you don't have a driver's license, hit a U-turn and find a different way to get where you're going so that you don't get pulled over in the checkpoint. The police are going to impound your car and hold it for 30 days. And then if you can't pay an impound fee of 30 days, they're going to auction your car. And then the auction company, the towing company, is going to split that money with the police union. So that's what we use that $30,000 to do, to support the community. We took these resources and turned them into weapons to support the community against our enemies. And that's what we're hoping to do as a labor union, to use the resources we have to support the fights and the struggles of the people that might not have anything to do with our jobs. But because we understand that an injury to one is an injury to all, it's our obligation to use what we have, the opportunities that we have, to make these resources available to the struggles of the community. This is because I won an election that I can. Not every union is interested in doing this type of work. As long as they got a job for their members, some of them are just happy to go home and have a drink. We're out here in the streets with the resources that we have. We intend to take this same strategy and get the resources in that building and use those resources as more weapons and tools to serve the community. So you're going to be hearing about city council races in the next 6 months, 12 months. We need to identify candidates that support the interests of the community and get behind those candidates with these nickel and dime campaigns and run some of these people out of this building. Take those resources and turn them into tools and weapons that represent us instead of repressing us. Yeah. So again, I know that we have people here that have ideas, that have leadership, that have experience. So I don't want to just stand here listening to myself talk. So please, if you don't know what to say, please talk to Chris Dan, someone who needs a good speechwriter. Yeah. Come on, folks, somebody step up. Don't make me say it. Don't make me say it. You talk together yet? No. All right.
Fascism, white supremacy, motherfuckers.
You can go home and listen to music. We're here to have a political action. Come on, guys, work with me. Who's got something to say? We support self-determination and reparations for the oppressed African American nation.
What do we want to talk about? We support reparations and self-determination for the Chicano Nation, for the Native Indigenous nations.
Yeah.
We support equality for women. What else?
Yeah.
We want jobs. We want education. Like, we defeated Trump. Let's talk about it.
Hey, don't make me rant some more. Come on.
There's all kind of people here. Somebody got something to say.
Right. Yeah.
Hello, everybody.
Hey.
My name is Kendrick. This was my 20th week. You know, let me see, where can I start? I was there, you know what I mean, the dude with the dreads at the the heavyset dude in front of me. Yeah, me and him, we held it down. If on YouTube, y'all can see me like face to face, you know, ain't no, you know, at first they said when we was like in a parking lot, like getting ready, they was across the street, you know, and it was like chanting. So we was chanting, you know, like 5 or 10 minutes later, they come with, it was peaceful, you know, they come across the street to us, like come right in our face, like, no, it don't happen like that. We not soft ones. I mean, y'all messing with the wrong ones. So they had a police pull up at the same time while they going hard, so they think that we supposed to back down or something because the police here. No, we gonna move them right out the way, and we gonna go right to y'all. What you mean? What you mean? Like real talk, they thought it was Trumpers. They had rights or something. No, y'all don't have no rights. I was in a face like this, like y'all have no rights, not one. What have y'all done for the country? What have y'all done? My skin, me looking at you should show you what my country have done. What my ancestors have done, what they have bled for. It's a lot of stuff that, you know, we've been going through for like millions of years. People say 500. No, we've been going through this since medieval times. You know what I mean? It's hard to explain. It's scientific. And guess what? We was here. No matter what. No matter what, we was here, you know? So everybody be thinking, oh, even though we walked, the Eric Garcetti with Beyond MLA, we walked over there for the Eric Garcetti house. Yeah. And I seen the monuments of like Egyptian black people. And then at the end, it was George Washington. I didn't understand. The dude tried to explain to me, but I still didn't explain it. It was like some 1800s, like black people. And then it goes to, in the middle, it was like 1960. And then it was just George Washington. Like, I didn't get it. Like, so anyway, you know what I mean?
White supremacy.
We still hold it down, like, you know, we ain't comparing nowhere, you know what I mean? They think they got rid of us, but they did it. They just closed the park. You see, they still ain't opening it back up. Y'all see that? Talking about it's under construction, but it's past 3 months. If it's longer than 3 months, the construction is over. We could really take that gate down. Because construction, y'all say 3 months, that's over. It's not real acceptable. That part. Well, you think I didn't try to rip out that shit already? That part. I wonder where all the holes in it came from. But yeah, man, I'm just saying, you know, we always gonna stand strong no matter what. They know that. They see that Trump gone, Jackie Lacey gone. A lot of people gone since it started. So,
yeah.
They got to be gone. They think that here is cool. They're doing that right there is cool. But when the truckers come here, do y'all need a water bottle? Yeah. They watch the dude they took also RP on them people. RP to the black souls. Black souls that have gone for days for their skin color. Well, yeah, man, you know, it's fine, you know what I mean? They get to do the water, you know how that feeling for. You know what I mean? Come up in there and shoot up the whole protesters and, oh, you need some water? Come on, man. So yeah, y'all know where we come from. Y'all should stay in the protest. We're gonna stay revolution until we get our rights up.
Yeah, yeah! Yeah!
Alright?
All the people, for the people. We have to have control. We need power. We are power. You are power. So let's get together. We have to pull together and unite. My thing is that as far as our police and our governor, our former disgusting racist asinine president are continuing to genocide the people in our communities and throughout the state, and throughout the U.S., and throughout the country. And my thing is that police cannot police the police. But I mean, it don't make sense when the police are policing the police. I mean, because we're still dying, we're still being genocide, we're still being shot, we're still being harassed in communities, we're still being followed. Every time we step out the door, we're running up and they're watching us now. They've been joining us at the beginning of this rally. The thing is that it's the people, the civilians that need control of the police. We need a CPAC now. 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 Civilian police accountability council. We're going to democratically elected by the people to have control because, again, this police remover, he's going to do, oops, I'm about to say it, it's not going to do a damn thing. The thing is that it has no teeth, it has no power. So police will continue to keep going on doing what they're doing. They're going to continue to keep killing. They're going to continue to keep getting away with this. And they're not going to be accountable for all the complaints and everything that are towards them. The first of the complaints that come into the police department that are about the police don't get addressed. And that's insane. That's insane. That means that they're getting away with murder. They're getting away with hurting us. They're getting away with killing us. They're getting away with harassing us and stalking us. Oh my goodness, is that we need a CPAC. We need control over the police. CPAC now! CPAC now! CPAC now! CPAC now! Let's not leave our city officials out of this. Let's come in with the president. We've got to keep our eye on him. We got to keep our eye on Kamala, and we got to keep our eye on our city officials. We've got to make sure that they do what's right for the people. What the people want. It's not about what we need anymore. It's about what we want. What we demand. What we need, what we have to have in our lives to sustain ourselves. So the thing is that we're watching you. We're watching you, city officials. We're watching you, Biden. We're watching you, Kamala. I want to not just hear y'all talking about restorative justice. I don't want to just hear y'all talking about, I want more than just talk. I want action as far as restorative justice. Action as far as demilitarizing the police. Action as far as end to systemic racism. Actually giving us a real stimulus that really will lift up people in the community. In the U.S. Because that $1,200 was $600 was an insult. $600 was a hot mess. I didn't understand that. $600, what was that, a TikTok for this? Is that what that is? That was a roast. That's somebody's allowance. We needed a real stimulus that was really going to be able to help lift this up out of our debt. Keep us from being homeless. Help us take care of our bills. Help us pay our rent. Help us pay our utilities. Loan and whatever else that we have in our lives that we're working with. That's what we really needed. We're still struggling and we're still suffering and people are still dying. And people are still becoming homeless and are hungry. The lines are ridiculous when it comes down to the food drives.
It's not enough food. And that ain't right.
That ain't right.
So the thing is that like we need this new president to put out a real stimulus that's gonna really help us, that's really gonna lift us up, that's really gonna get us out of debt, that's really gonna make our lives more sustainable. That's what we need. We need to take action now. They've been wasting time at the top, and we have the voice. The people's voices have been heard. We have already expressed and protest and rallied to the top of our lungs, and we're going to continue to keep doing that. The thing is that we will be heard. Now it's time to take action. We need our city officials, and we need our president and our vice president to all take action now. We need aggressive action. We need aggressive investment in people. We need to communities be able to put out ordinances and policies and everything that force landlords and owners to keep up and upkeep of the housing. We need to stop allowing our people to live directly in these communities. We shouldn't be living like animals in our own communities. It doesn't make any sense that this side of town is poor, we really is home, and that side of town over there is really comfortable and cozy, and life is great for them. Everybody has a right to live. Everybody has a right to prosperity. And the thing is that we want that now. We want it now. We can't wait any longer. We don't have the time anymore. Time is our enemy, and it's always been our enemy. So we need to demand, and we need to tell them this is what we want. It's not what we need. This is what we want, and we want it now. We can't wait tomorrow. Tomorrow's not promised to us. We need justice now. We need prosperity now. We need equality now. So with that being said, Biden, once again, we didn't choose you. The people didn't choose you. We didn't really want you. I'm not going to BS around with that. We didn't really want Biden. But the thing is that we do have you now. So the thing is that you need to serve the people. Straight up serve the people. And cut this mess out. So with that being said, again, let's stop DeSantis. Let's fight this bill, the SB 484 and HB 1 that threatens our constitutional First Amendment rights to protest, rally, and speak. That's right. Stop the anti-protest bill. We need everybody to get together and end this. We need everybody to say, hey, stop this DeSantis, end this. So all of you, we need you to pull together in our state and in our community and stop these bills from happening. In the Capitol, up there during session, during legislation, I need to see all of y'all there. I need to see all of y'all there, and I need to see you all speaking out against these bills. I'm going to say something, and then I'm going to let this go because I have 5 minutes. The one thing I want to say is our work is not done, and I'm just want to say how proud and grateful I am to have you all here doing the work that you're doing. But that Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. said, never be afraid to do what's right, especially in the well-being of a person or an animal is at stake. Society's punishments are small compared to the wounds we inflict on our souls when we look the other way. No more turning away from what's happening. We need to face it on and end the oppression that we're suffering. We need to stop the systemic racism. We need to stop white supremacy. We need to stop capitalism at the root. So the thing is that we have to fight. Freedom, justice, and prosperity. It's our duty to fight for our freedom. Can y'all say that?
It is our duty to fight for our freedom.
It is our duty to win.
It is our duty to win.
We must love and support one another.
We must love and support one another.
We have nothing to lose but our chains.
We have nothing to lose but our chains.
It is our duty to fight for freedom.
It is our duty to fight for our freedom.
It is our duty to win.
It is our duty to win.
We must love
and support each other.
Nothing to lose but our chains.
We have nothing to lose but our chains.
We have nothing to lose but our chains.
We have nothing to lose but our chains.
Thank you. I love her so much. Oh my God. So I think Trish actually brought up something really important that I kind of want to elaborate on. This anti-protester bill that DeSantis has made, this ludicrous, unbelievable legislation to basically make it impossible for the Black Lives Matter movement in Florida to organize whatsoever. That's the goal of it. The goal is to keep us silent. The goal is to not have to hear us scream. The goal is to not have to hear our pain. And DeSantis is hiding that underneath the veneer of pretending to care about white supremacy, pretending to care about the people at the insurrection, but we know who he is. He's a white supremacist. So why would he care about that? When DeSantis originally passed this bill, it had unbelievable things inside of it. Like, it literally, basically, if you're someone with a car and you run over protesters, that's legal now. That's legal. Because of the work of activists and organizers and people fighting against the bill originally, some of the original language was taken out. So it's a little more reasonable, but still awful. And it would stop our ability to publicly organize or protest in all of Florida. We have to fight against it. Not only that, they want to make it impossible to make community control of the police happen, to make any redistribution of money from the police happen.
Undemocratic.
When y'all look at our city budget, if y'all have ever looked at our city budget, if you haven't, go look at our city budget, you'll see something surprising. You'll look at our city budget and you'll be like, oh, okay, I guess housing only gets this much money. I guess the ethics committee only gets this much money. I guess any kind of social services or welfare programs for people only get this much money. But why does the Tallahassee Police Department take up 1/3 of our budget?
Right.
Why is the Tallahassee Police Department have access to tanks, firearms, drones, as we've seen, attacking us for our violent protests where we're storming into the streets of Tallahassee and attacking people, apparently? Why are they wasting their money on that? Why are they spending their money on that? It's because we don't have control over it. The working class people in our society don't. DeSantis wants to make that impossible. He wants to essentially make it impossible to reallocate money from the police budget to any other budget. Do you know what that means, basically? Money that is being wasted in our community that can be used for other people will never go to those people. So we have to stand up and fight. Thankfully, we built the Florida Alliance, an organization of activists and organizers all around Florida who are fighting to make sure that this anti-protest bill is not passed. Please join us, fight with us, work with us, listen to us. When we say there's a date that you need to show up for it. Or get anyone you know to show up for it, because these things are important. They're going to impact Florida's entire future. And we can't ignore that. We can't just throw that to the wayside. It's important. If you would like to join the Florida Alliance or work with us or keep updated, come see me after the protest. Thank you. Hello, everybody. Good afternoon for Delilah. This has been our first protest since November 5th, I think. So it's been our first protest since then, and we're out there because of the fact that Trump said that he is he's going to win. That obviously did not happen. He lost multiple times, but turns out when you recount a vote, then it's another way to show that he lost. But all the work that we're doing, as Delilah said earlier, only happens because of all of us that are here. You know, it isn't just the amazing Delilah, like just the amazing Trish. It's every single one of us that comes together to make a difference. So we want people to be organized. Or as Trish would sing it. Organize. Organize. So what I need you to do is to take out your phones. If you're closing the better, like I just try to put it down for a second. I just need you to do something really, really important. I need you to take out your phones. I need you to text TCAP, which is TCAC, to 833-796-0361. That's TCAC to 833-796-0361. One more time. That's TCAC 833-796-0361. That adds you to our text alert, so that way whenever we have events, as Delilah said, whenever we need people to show up, because, you know, I love being out there in the streets, but a lot of times it's really just sitting on Zoom calls and going over, you know, Google Documents and all that fun stuff. So there's a lot of dirty work that comes with that. So we need everybody who has the ability to assist, whether you can make a flyer, maybe you're really good at making press releases, or you're really into policy, really anything that you can do, we will definitely need you to make sure we can build this movement. And we also have our website, which we just launched, which is tallycac.com. That's TALLYCAC.com. Again, that's tallycac.com. And that's a really great way to also get involved and learn more about the great stuff that we have going on. And we need all of you to, you know, be a part of that. Sure. And I just wanted to mention something. Just now, I just got information that those two bills I was talking about, SB 484 and HB 1, the anti-protesting bills, they just got approved of going to the committee. Get it right. Get it right. So the thing is that Terry has a community action committee is going to be putting out a letter of action, and you can like check that out once it gets up and posted on our website at tallycac.com, TALLYCAC.com, and please follow us also again at Facebook, Tallycac Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Thank you.
I don't know. They might not be interested in marching. Are you guys almost ready to march? Yeah! That's what I like it. So our last speaker is a super awesome leader who you've probably seen in the past 2 weeks a lot. Okay? Our last speaker is Jelani Hussein. He's the executive director of the Minnesota chapter of the Council on American Islamic Relations. Karen has worked tirelessly against a racist Muslim ban and is leading the work right now to fight for justice for New Orleans. Yeah. And I want to mark that allegedly today, Biden is ending the racist Muslim ban, and we did that. Yeah. Biden, we did that. Yeah. We have had the loudest and largest protest in the country against the racist ban. So we did that. And we're going to volunteer, and they don't believe us. Yeah. Welcome, Jelani.
I want to first of all greet you all with a greeting of peace. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. May peace and blessings be upon you all today. I know it's cold. Not bad. But I'm going to tell you something. What's more colder is that the 8 years of Obama, not many of you showed up. That's colder. What's colder is many Democrats will never call out Democrats. That's colder. What's colder is the fact that we fail to see injustice, even though injustice is in front of us. What's colder is our city and businesses are today billboarded with the signs that they love George Floyd, but they never saw George Floyd. What's colder is that today there was a peaceful transition.
I think that the LAPD is baiting the protesters right now. That's really what I think, because there's not like much reason for this. There's a lieutenant commander here. Or, sorry, just a lieutenant. Oh, it's not this round. Hey, y'all, check this out. And what I think is happening is LAPD is baiting the protesters. And we got the captain here.
Shut the fuck up! You didn't stand up and chat shit! You didn't sit there! You fucking cowards! You fucking pussies! You fucking bitches! You fucking losers! Fuck all of you! You should not have been put a mask on, bitch! Ugly ass motherfucker, cover that face up, bitch! You're the reason. Ugly ass broke porn star, get the fuck out of here! You fucking ass motherfucker! All night, man.
We got LAPD coming up in right here too, over there. America is fun. As I said, I think that they're beating them.
Lives until we bring back equality in all of our communities, until we free the thousands and the millions of people who are wrongfully incarcerated, until we protect our water and our land from corporate greed. I want to first of all in this moment also recognize the tireless work by the organizations that many of you know very well. From the anti-war committee that never gave up, from Women's Against Military Madness, all the peace movements here, all the climate justice movement, all the unions that stood up, all the social justice groups. I want you to know, we are not going anywhere. We built a bond of brotherhood and sisterhood. We built a bond of brotherhood and sisterhood. We are entrusting in each other in the future that we created. As Meredith said, today's victory does not belong to Biden. It belongs to the poor people in this country. It belongs to the brown people in this country. It belongs to the black people in this country. It belongs to the people who are right now standing right here. We made this happen. It is not always in the hands of people. So my message to you all is
What the fuck is going on? This is new. and terrible. You're up. This did not happen last week on Insurrection Day for the violent Trump rally. That was some new, fresh fucking bullshit, I will say. That was fucking like, what the fuck year is this? Is it 2020? Or is this like 1312 or something? They're gonna come back. It's not gonna be good. People are gonna get fucking trampled by a damn horse. Hey, you have any water there by chance?
So a lot of the protesters went somewhere else, and a lot of press and medics are here talking to us.
Alan, continue to do a great job. So before we start marching, we're going to have some awesome women. Jay from TC, Jay, Fiber,
I wasn't sure yet, but I think my friends was a little bit somewhere. I'm like, who am I friends with Are you gonna do that? Or I'm gonna call you. Yeah, I'm gonna follow way behind this live stream. Yeah, good to see you. I know I'm gonna get in there and get a little warm. My hands are cold.
And you're on radio, low 4.9. On the 4.9 radio.
You're gonna see the pig head here. And we have this wonderful pig head. but switch my camera to a monopod real quick so I can live stream from the roof of my car.
Yeah, you'll make sure someone else on it. Intimidation. That's intimidation. Did I make you speak for one? This ain't the last time you didn't hear from me. I got you to speak for it. Shut your fucking mouth. Fuck you. Fucking different. Are you sure it's not
Two arrests right here.
You know how to
It's settled down here.
You don't want to wear it now?
Telemundo is the only news here. Credit to them for being up on the front line watching LAPD try to attempt to trample the people they protect. We're protecting you. We're protecting you.
You fucking tell him! Yo, people! Fuck you! Yo, federal people! Yo, people! Horses! No, dude, stay on
Dumbass.
Oh, the bastard! Oh, the bastard! Oh, okay, that's the racist system. Okay, that's the racist system. Justice, no peace. Prosecute the police. Justice, no peace. Prosecute the police. Justice, no peace. Prosecute the police. No 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 justice, no peace. Prosecute the police. What do we want? When do we want it? What do we want? When do we want it? What do we want? When do we want it? What do we want? When do we want it? What do we want? When do we want it? What do we want? When do we want it? What do we want? When do we want it? What do we want? When do we want it? Say his name! 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 Say his name. 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 The people united will never be defeated. 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 Hey, hey, oh, oh, these racist cops have got to go. Hey, hey, oh, oh, these racist cops have got to go. Hey, hey, oh, oh, these racist cops have got to go. Hey, hey, oh, oh, these racist cops have got to go. Hey, hey, oh, oh, these racist cops have got to go. Hey, hey, oh, oh, these racist cops have got to go. Hey, hey, oh, oh, these racist cops have got to go. Hey, hey, oh, oh, these racist cops have got to go. Hey, hey, oh, oh, these racist cops have got to go. Hey, hey, oh, oh, these racist cops have got to go. Hey, hey, oh, oh, these racist cops have got to go. Hey, hey, oh, oh, these racist cops have got to go.
I'm not walking the track.
Too many stolen lives. 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 Too many stolen lives.
So I don't have my stabilizer, so sorry shaking at this phone on the pole. My other camera with the stabilizer doesn't work good at night. So we're marching down to the 3rd precinct, the one that was during the uprising. So that's where we're heading on Lake Street, Minneapolis, Minnesota.
Welcome, Bob Law, to the live. Welcome in.
That target was looted, stripped clean, and burned. They've reopened it. It's very nice now. Actually updated, new technology. A couple stores pick up.
Bring your own. Must be embarrassing. These are details. It must be embarrassing. For real. Keep saying it.
Prefer that our neighbors starve and freeze on the street. No threshold for survival. If you are alive and you want to stay alive and someone is willing to provide you a place to not freeze, why would you take that away? Very good question. So, since the concerned citizens who think that some people are less than people have got the mayor's ear, are talking to the city commission, are putting flyers up around town in opposition to this low threshold shelter, it's up to us to speak up as well and to say, hey, we just became aware that this thing exists. This is a good thing. If someone is alive and they want to remain alive and someone can help them do so as an alternative to freezing on the street. And pardon my overuse of the word freezing, because a shelter guarantee should not only apply to when it is below 40 degrees Fahrenheit. It ain't great. Housing isn't right. Woo! So I wanted to make sure that everyone here was aware, and the city commissioners are like pretty easy people like to get their contact information. Find them, talk to them, call them, send them emails, sanitize your hands, and send them a letter.
Yeah.
But it really, like, we are all we've got. We are all we've got, and the people directly impacted by this interference in humanity. But City Walk Urban Mission is outdoing humanity, and there are people interfering with this humanity. Not all the people who are helped, who need the services of a low threshold shelter, have internet, have phones, have access to search engines. And we are who they got. So be who they got and reach out. Do the Google searches. Find the people on the city commission and talk to them and tell them to refuse to bend to this effort to interrupt efforts at humanity. Thank you so much.
Pathetic right now. Thank you. Truly klepto.
Jim. It do hit different. Whose streets? 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 Whose streets?
Get it?
Facts.
DC has got it.
Get him.
Got a little bit of a taste of what we've been going through here
Get
for
him.
last year.
He's on your head, 208. Get him.
Hurt.
Yup. Facts. All facts, no cap. Get him.
We have had way too much stress here in Portland.
Too much.
You may have been overburdened, but you get a paycheck.
That's
We're trying
right.
to struggle to survive.
Facts. Y'all get paid for that shit.
We've had
Fuck
muggings,
y'all.
car theft, car break-ins on just a regular basis, daily.
Bitch.
And there's no place for them because of the mandatory minimums filling up the prison. So there's nowhere to put them.
Look at this guy on the payroll over there streaming. What are you streaming for? What's your streamer name, man? Give me a shout out. What's your Instagram? What's your Twitter?
He's probably a Finsta. That's fine. We all got to make that money.
Facts.
We're hoping for change. We're hoping for reform. I don't even care if you get defunded. Just change the way you go about your policing behavior.
Facts.
You are trained. There should not be killology programmed into police officers. There shouldn't be. There shouldn't be rampant corruption. There shouldn't be cash grabs happening at the higher level and then it trickling down like Reaganomics down to where you're at.
Yep. Y'all are puppets in this fucking system being used.
Some of you had probably good intentions when you first
Out of love.
Damn right.
We do this because Dontre is probably smiling right now.
Hell yeah.
And we're going to keep him smiling. It's okay. This is Milwaukee love. This is what this city is actually made of. With all the crime and everything that's going on, it do not display who we are. We've always been a family that loves. Now we have a bigger family to love. And I love each and every one of y'all. Dr. This is for you. On three. 1, 2, 3. We love you, Trey. Happy birthday! Happy birthday, Trey!
John Trey Hamilton!
John Trey Hamilton!
John Trey Hamilton!
John Trey Hamilton!
John Trey Hamilton! John Trey Hamilton!
Get somebody come and pray us out.
Can we sing happy birthday?
Yeah.
A few speakers at the International Symbol of Resistance. Next up is David Gilbert Pedersen of Minnesota's Workers United.
David is well known in Minneapolis for his labor organizing and a prolific political activism. Thank you. Including his work on Ilhar's campaign. Please welcome David.
All right.
There's a big party in D.C., and it seems as though none of us got the invite. As the elites gather in Washington to celebrate, cheers, and dance the changing of the guard, working class people all across America are still in the trenches fighting a war against U.S. empire, fighting a war against the COVID-19 virus, fighting a war against greed and austerity, fighting a war against police brutality, against deportation, against pipelines through indigenous land. Working class people are fighting in the trenches of battle against the horrors of American capitalism. Donald Trump was defeated not by Joe Biden, but by us. By activists and organizers, by people's movements that stepped up every time with one of his disastrous policies to say no and to fight back and to hold the line for working people. And because Donald Trump is gone, I don't know if you remember 4 years ago, Donald Trump's presidency was greeted with tens of thousands of people in the streets demanding a better life and demanding an end to Trumpism. We've lost some of the forces of the middle class and the petty bourgeoisie. We've lost the pure press and the ladder climbers. But at the end of the day, our movements are still here. His presidency cannot be defined by just ending the mistakes of Donald Trump. Joe Biden must work to enact a policy that is truly for the people. Amnesty for all, health care for all, free child care. Reparation! Yeah. Online today say the nightmare is over, but that's not true. The monsters just look a little different right now. And the monsters, some of them are going home, but it's on us, working class people, people in the struggle to keep our foot on the gas, to stay on that ass. Ending Trump isn't enough. We have fixated on one thing, and that was justice. This building here should always serve as a monument to George Floyd's life and to the fight for Black liberation. We need action in the first 100 days. We need economic cash relief for every American. We need an end to globalist policies. We need to enact policies to make sure everyone has the right to organize, to a living wage, and to a life free from police violence. Stay in the streets, keep up the fight, we will win.
Right. Up next, we want to welcome a new member of TCC for J. We want to welcome Destiny up to the mic. Destiny is well known as the organizer for SDS, but has recently joined the fight for community control of the police with TCC for J, for the whole city and for campus. Give it up for Destiny.
Hello everyone, my name is Destiny. I am from TCC for J, and I also organize with UMN SDS. I want to start out with saying, Joe Biden, you are not our savior. We are not expecting you to come in and rid us of racism and prejudice just because you are slightly better than Trump. Our government expects us to comply with an institution built from slave patrols and night watches. Yet we are shown time and time again that this fucked up justice system chooses to continuously ignore our pleas for justice and ignore our cries for them to simply listen to us in order to make progressive change. This is why the election does not change our demands by any means. Just because Biden is taking office doesn't mean the police won't continue to try and silence us, harass us, or even kill us. Therefore, we must continue the fight to hold them accountable and to hold Biden accountable, because where I'm sitting, Biden cares more about property than stolen lives. He claims that he is going to try to do right by the people, but what we know about Biden's previous voting records show us he is, like all political actors, invested in the maintenance of the status quo. He and the Obama administration used Black Americans as props for their campaign, then did nothing to reduce the effects of racist policing or listen to our demands. In fact, we know he doesn't support us because he personally has publicly stated, "Do I look like a radical socialist with a soft spot for rioters?" And then goes back and quotes MLK and uses the trappings of progressive language for votes. Right. We saw 2 weeks ago how much the system does not work. We saw these white supremacists destroy the Capitol over the racist, xenophobic president leaving office. Yet, protesters holding a non-violent march are met with overwhelming force by police at the request of supposed progressive leadership. Where are the 600 plus charges brought against these people? It is crazy how much this system favors white supremacy. 3 people died at this insurrection, and the state capitol was destroyed. Yet activists holding a peaceful protest that did not result in death and are simply fighting for justice and the right to breathe have to deal with petty misdemeanors, and in Amina's case, felony charges. This is sad, yet not surprising. Sorry. Police will beat, separate, and mace peaceful protesters, yet these white supremacists can harm officers and cause death, but barely face consequences. This is sickening. All other protesters that are currently held in jail from the summer are trumped up on false charges should be released. We will not tolerate the imprisonment of our movement. This is why we must have accountability, not just the police, but all crooked politicians and this bogus system. The Democrats are not here to save us, therefore we have to save each other. Biden doesn't support us or our demands, so we have to make him. We will oppose any state repression or erosion of our rights, regardless of who is president. Lastly, I just want to say thank you guys for coming out tonight. No justice, no peace. Thank you.
We are almost ready to walk back, but we've got one last speaker who's going to bring it on for us. Our next speaker is Monique Color-Stoney, who's representing BLM Minneapolis today. But to be honest, BLM Minnesota, but in fact, she's in like so many different groups because she's like all over the Black Lives Matter movement. And she's involved in so many movements that are working to end police brutality. And she's organized an annual march to the state fairgrounds to demand justice for her nephew, Marcus Golden. And all others who've been taken by police, please welcome Monty.
Thank you, y'all are so amazing. This is what we do. We get out in the streets and we shut shit down. This is amazing. Give yourselves a hand. Rain, sleet, cold, whatever, we're out here. This is what we have to do. This is what we must continue to do. Because we know that the people who are in power don't care about us. They don't care about the people who don't have a voice. So those of us who are able to get out here and do what we do, this is what we have to do. So I want to thank all the journalists who are out here in media, letting people know that we get it in here in Minneapolis as the whole entire world knows, right? We want justice for George Floyd, justice for the law, justice for all who are stolen by the police. So I'm standing here with Black Lives Matter. I do work in a lot of groups, but one important thing for me is that I do work in solidarity, that I come out and support other movements because we are all connected. We have to remember that, right? We can't do it alone, and you shouldn't do it alone. This is for all of us to get together in the face of injustice. So we're standing here at the eve of when we have a new president and a new vice president, and we expect change. A lot of people expect change, but we still have to remember we're talking about two capitalist systems, right? Two capitalist parties that have just taken turns and switched. So we have to remember, there were so many of us who left outside our parties outside of the two capitalist party system just to get Trump out. It was unfortunate, but that's kind of what some of us had to do. But now that we have Biden in office, we have to remember who this man is. This is a man who's the father of mass incarceration. Listen! So we want our people free. And we have to remember who did that. We can't have a president just stand up and talk about unifying the United States. We can't do that because oil and water do not mix. Listen. We need to address and tell the truth about what is happening. We need to tell the history of America. We need to reconcile. And we need to have reparations for the indigenous people and the descendants of enslaved Africans who have worked to build this country. So we have to remind the people who are now in office, whether it's federal or local, we have to remind them that we are not forgetting what we've been through, to lay down our history and our truth to try and unite in the name of capitalism. We will not do that. We have to remind the people who are in power in America in our history of what has happened to us as the descendants of enslaved Africans, as indigenous people, and as other people who come here as migrants, who have come here as refugees, and even the people who come here as immigrants just for a better life, because America has given a lot of people a hard road to toe. Even the working class, the people who worked in the foundries for little pay, losing limbs and arms, children working while the owners got fat and rich. So we had the working class movement that fought for a 5-day work week, but people forget about that. And then we end up having union members fighting with white supremacists and racists and forgetting about the struggle that they had, trying to separate themselves from our struggle here today when they are in the same situation because they are not living the dream. because they're sitting there living the racist life, and that's what they want. That's okay, but don't think that you are better than us, those who are here boots on the ground, because you're white supremacists, think that you are entitled to something that should just be handed to you because you're white. We reject that narrative every day. That's why we get in the streets. We have to remember that these police are the same people that took over the Capitol. These police are the same people who literally want to kill black people and people of color. They enjoy killing people. It's not like, oh, they're afraid of no one, and no, they want to kill us. And that's why they do it. It is a choice. They want to be a white supremacist organization. They want to be another Bob Crow. They want to be serial killers because they can get paid to do it, and they can get promoted to do it, and they can receive awards for killing us. So we have to remember that Black Lives Matter. We have to continue to stand on the neck of this system until it gives us the justice we need. You have to remember how Officer Chauvin stood on the neck of George Floyd, and we need to give it back to them even much more, because we cannot accept anything less than what we deserve. And we deserve the benefits, all of the benefits that America has to offer for everyone. That's for the homeless people who come in contact with police and the injustice of police. The people who sit in jail because they don't have money for bond. This all, justice for all does mean justice for all. This is about uniting. This is about working together. And this is about calling out the wrongs and calling out the people who stand up and do these wrongs and put on a face and then want to smile in a camera and get up on an MLK Day program like Amy Klobuchar, Governor Law, and talking about equity, talking about Martin Luther King's dream, while demonizing the people who are us, who are living out and acting out Martin Luther King's dream just so he can have it. We are continuing what he did in these streets, but yet we are demonized and criminalized with these same people who look back and honor Martin Luther King. So if you don't honor us in the work that we do, then you don't honor Martin Luther King either. We have to remember our history, and we have to tell our own narrative, because usually it's the winner who tells the story. And a lot of us have been on the losing end in America. The losing end of housing, the losing end of education, the losing end of food. We are at the losing end, and we cannot be complacent and stay there. So we want what they got. We want everything that straight white men have been able to get. And have been given to them and handed to them. We want what they got. Women want what they got. LGBTQ want what they got. Black people want what they got. Black people want what they got. People of color. We all need to get a piece of the pie. And they want us to think that there is not enough to go around. But there is. And we need to make sure that the rich and the wealthy, like Donald Trump, who just left office, that they are paying their fair share. That they are carrying us. Because there is no reason for the working class and people who don't even make $25,000, $30,000 here. Why are we paying taxes? There is no need. Tax the rich. Let us live and let us thrive. Let us be who we are born to be and not who they want us to be. We can allow our government to continue to rob us, to continue to take taxes, to pay the police to kill us. Defund the police. We need police responding to other things, but not to mental health. Actually, we don't need them responding to anything. We just need time to get rid of the police. So while we continue to make sure we have our cameras out to police, and while we know that there'll be another time and another name that we'll be out in the streets again fighting for someone else, just remember that we can't stop, that we can't give up, and when we're dead and gone, our children may still be out here fighting for us, but we have to do our part while we still have breath in our bodies. Thank you for being out here. Black Lives Matter, justice for all.
Thank you,
Earlier?
Trying to answer the merchant. Let me tell you the plan. We're going to go up here and we're going to take a right. And we're going to actually march around that little triangle because we got cars from us. So like we as people who are working, we can fix it real quick for those guys.
Here, I can take it.
But I think the fact that so many people are just now waking up to that reality is a testament to the truth that there is not one, but two Americas yet. Okay? There is white America, in which justice is served, in which people's needs are met, and in which life is valued and respected. And then there is black America, in which there is no real justice, in which people are left to suffer in abject poverty and illness, and in which the sanctity of life and one's inherent right to peace and equity are not valued, okay? They do not matter to you in people's eyes. But I'm here to tell you today that this is done, okay? This inequity is done. We will no longer tolerate this vast disparity in human rights and freedom because black lives do matter, okay? Black lives matter. So I've been thinking about something a lot, because recently I was given a book by my father titled Begin Again. And this book is about the life and works of James Baldwin, a black organizer, author, and poet who lived in the black civil rights movement in the 50s, 60s, and beyond. And this book described how after decades of toiling under the ceaseless onslaught of racism and oppression inflicted upon him as a gay black man that lived in America in the mid-20th century, he fled to Paris in an attempt to focus on his writing and heal. And he remained there for years, all the while watching the beatings, the lynchings, the imprisonments of his brothers and sisters and comrades back in the States. And finally, he realized that there is no escape, okay? It didn't matter how far he ran, because the wage of the war was still being waged on his homeland and in his heart, okay? And I feel that same pain, that same desire to want to run away from things with that knowledge that I cannot. Because being black in America, we all know that there is nowhere to run. There is nowhere to go, okay? Wherever you are in this world, if you are black, you have to fight to have anything, okay? Freedom is not given to us. We have to seize it and hold on to your life every second of every day. And now, white America, you're gonna carry that weight. You're gonna carry that weight. Because you have but a taste, the slightest inkling of what it's like to have your peace compromised. And rest assured, Donald Trump's fascism isn't going away because he's been impeached. White supremacist violence isn't disappearing because Donald Trump's term is officially over. As a matter of fact, this country was founded on white supremacist military and paramilitary rights. It's encoded in its DNA. You really been safe of it until now. You've really been safe of it until now. And let me be crystal clear. Yes, I'm speaking about the legacy of violence and exploitation against black people and the urgent need for a total abolition of police. Full stop. And yes, I'm speaking about the very real and imminent threat of fascist overthrow by the hands of Donald Trump and his cronies. But I'm not speaking about two separate issues. That's something you need to understand. I'm not speaking about two separate issues here. These are two sides of the same coin. The oppressive forces that have allowed for centuries of indescribable violence against black bodies, hearts, and minds are the same oppressive forces that now allow for the encroachment of fascism within the white race. Okay? So this speech is about white supremacy and how it must be stopped. That's what this is about, okay? So when you watched the footage on social media or on the news of the droves of white supremacist zealots scaling the walls of the Capitol building, when you heard about the people who died that day, I hope that shit radicalized you. I hope it did. Because what this country needs now is not lobbying, okay? It's not civic debate. It's not punditry, and it's not politics. What we need now is grassroots radical action. Taken by every individual, okay? And I'm not here how to tell you how to do it. I'm not here to hold your hand and show you how to get involved. At this point, that falls upon you to figure out, okay? And I mean that in the most sincere way. I'm not here to scorn anybody. I'm serious. At this point, we need everybody, but we also need you to take initiative and figure out what it is you have to offer to move it. Because democracy only works when you live in a democratic state. And in the last 4 years, Donald Trump and his band of white-collar thugs who now populate the White House have eroded the infrastructure of that democracy to a shambling husk and exposed the infrastructure of white supremacy that the White House was built on. Okay? So it should be clear that Joe Biden isn't going to save us. Because at this point, it doesn't matter who's in the White House. A dictator can care less. Okay? And furthermore, Joe Biden, I'm telling you about Joe Biden. Joe Biden is a feckless puppy of the centrist Democratic establishment who is only president because of his ties to corporate interests. Okay? Can we get that through our heads? I'm pretty well, but here's a deal that might be a little harder for you to swallow. Okay? So, progressive political actors like Bernie Sanders and Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, they're not going to save you either. Okay? And let me be clear. Don't get me wrong. It's essential that we have strong progressives circulating in the White House. But now, this is the people's fight. Okay? This is the people's fight. Because our political champions only have as much power as we imbue them with. And you see how much power white nationalists give Trump. Okay? And they've got the guns to back it up. So what are we, the people, going to do? Because the coup didn't end at the Capitol building. That was merely where it began, okay? And now power is up for grabs. So we must seize it. We the people, okay? We the people who believe in racial equity and justice. We the people who believe that queer, trans, and gender deserve safety and peace. We the people who believe that it is well past time we go beyond acknowledging that one indigenous man and start actually giving back indigenous land and recognizing indigenous sovereignty. We the people who believe that disabled people deserve access to the services and rights that they need to have a high quality of life. We the people who believe that no human being is illegal and that it is morally abhorrent to lock children and innocent civilians in cages. Okay? We the people who believe that science is real and that no expense can be spared in combating climate crisis. We the people who believe that capitalism exploits the poor and working class, and that wealth and opportunity in this society must be reallocated in an equitable way for everybody.
Okay? We the people who believe that healthcare is a basic human right, and that infected areas caused by COVID-19 be drastically curbed by inequitable redistribution of resources. Okay? We the people who believe that Black Lives Matter. We the people must fight. We must organize. We must occupy. We must divest. We must disrupt. We must resist. Because if not us, then who? And if not now, then when? Okay? So yeah, it's New Year, okay? But the story hasn't changed. So I ask you, how are we, the people, going to be fighting? Thank you. Thank you all so much for listening. Like I said, we have some fantastic speakers coming up this afternoon. So I want to get that ball rolling. But real quick, I just want to take a minute to get real quick. So recently, I was stricken with some serious physical health issues, right? And that requires serious, expensive medical attention. And I work part-time, and I don't have insurance, so that I can be here on the streets continuing this fight, so that I have the energy to engage in this fight. And it's a difficult thing to lean on your community and ask for financial support, but I believe in mutual aid. Okay? And I believe that we take care of each other. So if you don't have the ability to be out on the streets engaging in this work on the front lines, okay? Or even if you do, I ask that you donate what you can to my Venmo. That's Ray for Revolution at Venmo. Once again, that's Ray, R-A-Y, the number 4, Revolution at Venmo. You'll find it under the name Ray Austin. Once again, thank y'all so much. We'll keep it rolling. We got some speakers coming up. Next up, we have Robert White, who's both Cheyenne and Dakota. He's enrolled in the Oglala tribe. He's a Pine Ridge member. He's an artist, activist, organizer, and labor for native rights, human rights, environmental and climate justice. Give it up for Robert White. Thank you.
Everywhere you go in this country, you are on indigenous land. You are on indigenous land today. You are on the lands of the Clackamas, the Kalapuya. Everywhere you go in this country, you're on Indian land. And why have land intelligence? Because we're unseen. We're invisible. Why am I speaking to you? Because you're here, you're doing the work. You are the people that are making the change. You are the people that are willing to stand up and do what's necessary to make that change. You are powerful. You have power. Natives today are trying to reinsert their sovereignty. They are sovereign nations. They are guided by the highest law in the land. Treaty law is the highest law in the land. And yet, we suffer. We're number one. We're number one in a lot of things. We're number one in being killed by anybody in authority. We're number one in deaths of diabetes. We're number one in being murdered, being missing, particularly missing indigenous women by the thousands. But yet we're not heard and we're not seen. On my reservation, we've got 90% unemployment. We've got children as young as 6 committing suicide. We're dying of things that people were dying of 70 years ago. Every year we have a winter kill count of human beings that have died from increasing today. During COVID, Indians are most likely to die of COVID. We're most likely to be murdered. All these things we're number one in. We don't want to be number one. We need you to help us with our sovereignty. We need you to help with our capacity. Tribes have to deal with the United States government on a one-to-one basis. Can you imagine what kind of personnel it takes to do that? What kind of money, what kind of time it takes to deal with the United States government on a car? It's incredible. So we depend on other people to help us watch the corporations, watch the government, help us understand what's going on in your neighborhood, in our neighborhoods. We're often depended on to be looked to what we're supposed to be doing for the environment, what we're supposed to be doing for the water. If you're doing the right thing for water, you're doing the right thing for everything around you. If you're doing the right thing for water, good relationship with fellow human beings will get better. Your relationship with the world around you will get better. Your relationship politically will get better. These are things that you can do. We need that. There's a difference between the tribes and with Indians. 80% of us live up on reservations. So we have these large groups of urban Indians. They're not by their own volition, but by being taken away as children when they're 5 or 6 years old and brought in Indian schools there to return. And they're dumped in cities. We're dumped wherever they are. We come to these cities as refugees when during the times when we were doing civil rights for black people, everybody else, the Indians got passed up. The Indians are always getting passed up.
You can only see the other side of the coin that you're fucking stuck on.
When you're talking about these 80% of these people,
there's a group of people that aren't fucking shit.
When they're trying to dissolve those tribes during the 50s, 60s, and 70s, dropping people into these cities and saying, you're no longer an Indian.
When did protesters start policing this? Please, post that
But they
article.
were dropping. They're economic prisoners. They're religious prisoners. Until just a few years back, we weren't allowed to practice our authority. We weren't allowed to offer reservations. We weren't allowed to vote. We're just getting voting boxes.
We may have a new president, but the fight isn't over. But fuck Biden, and fuck Trump. They don't give a fuck about us. That is the tone of the protesters.
But we need your help. We need you to be allies. We need you to everything. Labor organizations, labor leaders.
That's why all we about social media giants with the first thing you
ensure that maybe we can work in the
what are you
doing? When you're doing your healing health for all, are you thinking about those people, those children, those people that are dying on those reservations, and in the cities every day? If you're doing climate justice work, are you making sure that everything you do is environmental justice? Are you thinking about this? Are you making sure that those government agencies that you're working with are consulting with tribes? It's your responsibility to help your brothers. It's your responsibility to do this. Nobody else's. It's something that we have to do. You have to lift. If you go to the bottom and lift the Indians up, guess what? We have to everybody else up with you. You're powerful. You are powerful. You have the power to do it. There are more of us willing to be like him than there are those assholes. You are powerful. You are the human beings that are trying to make a difference. Welcome to the on-ramp. The on-ramp is a highway of doing the right thing. This is your chance to really start turning these things around. But this time, let's make sure that the Indians get on the bus, please. Let's make sure that we're not people. Let's make sure that as we use that power, that you're bringing those people up with you. If you're black, if you're brown, whatever you are, if you're white, take that moment. When you're speaking a speech, a speech conference all the time, and they go through the list of black people and brown people, Asians, but they never seem to get to the right. You know, if you're doing a little story from other people, see how that works. You know, let's try and bring that up. Let's try and make people understand that we are alive, that we still exist, that we are important, that we are human beings. You are important. You are powerful. Go out and do the work. And make it army. Make it army. Get more votes. Thank you. Thank you so much, y'all. One more time for Robin White. As far as I'm concerned, there is no justice until there is justice for indigenous people in this country. And that's a thought and a fight that should never leave our hearts and minds. Next up, we have Susie Cassock, who's an educator, a teacher at Grant High School, one of the co-founding members of Sunrise PCH, and we'll give it up to Susie Cassock.
Welcome in, whatever you need. Welcome, Laura Soto. Live. Welcome in, Laura.
Let's start with show of hands if you've heard about the climate crisis. Go ahead and raise your hand. All right. Everyone's hands are up. I love it. All right, show of hands if you think it's a big deal. Pretty big deal. Yep. Hands are up. Okay. Show of hands if you think that it's such a big deal that it actually affects all of life on Earth. The UN climate body said that they put out a report that said, quote, rapid, far-reaching, and unprecedented change is needed in all aspects of society to prevent climate catastrophe. Rapid, far-reaching, and unprecedented change. And they gave us until the year 2030 to cut our global emissions in half if we want to prevent runaway climate change. So I want to see a show of hands if you think that Joe Biden, without a movement pushing him, wants rapid, far-reaching, and unprecedented change in every aspect of our society. Right, he's told us repeatedly that he wants to preserve the status quo. He wants to return us to a pre-Trump America. Is that good enough? No, it's not good enough. But there's good news. This summer, 26 million people poured into the streets all around this country declaring that Black Lives Matter. Yes. We saw visionaries organizing from the Movement for Black Lives and their partners. And let me tell you, all movements for justice are one. It's no accident that the people who are hurt first and worse by the climate crisis and by environmental injustice are Black and brown. We're talking about 9 out of 10 farmers on the continent of Africa not being able to grow food by the year 2050. Entire island nations being swallowed by the ocean unless we act. We're talking about the child in Flint, Michigan, who was so severely poisoned by drinking her tap water, millions of it, hundreds of children, that the effects of lead poisoning will affect her grandchildren. No more. Say it, no more. It's no accident. The same exact structure that allows these things to happen, that allows us to exploit the earth as if she were dead, as if she were not the living, breathing organism that our indigenous siblings tell us she is the same exact structure that feeds black and brown and poor bodies into the machine of capitalism as if they were just cogs meant to just create a mass profit for their ruling class. They used to be called royalty and now they're called billionaires. Say it again, no more. Right. So now, right now, is our moment. We have a president in the White House who does not want the change that we need, and so we need to tell him it's not up to you. It's not up to you. We need to be more organized and more powerful than we have ever been before. So if you're here today and you're not part of a group yet that's organizing for change, then I want you to listen to the speakers tonight and find one that sets your heart on fire, and then go talk to them. Go talk to the groups around you and ask, how can I get involved? How can I join this group? And if you're here and you're part of the group, I want you to ask yourself, how can I make my group the most welcoming place possible? How can I make it a place where people feel loved, where people feel seen, where people feel appreciated? How am I using my cause for justice, climate justice, economic justice, racial justice, disability justice, queer justice, trans justice, with the causes for justice all around me, for the liberation of all people? How is my group disassembling the structure of oppression, not only out in the world, but in our groups? How are we resolving conflicts with a focus on love and justice, on healing and transformation? Because we can do it. How do we create a movement that is focused on joy? Because I want to tell you, fighting for our world and for our people, is joyful work, and it really can fill your soul in a way that nothing else can. Yeah, and so we're really lucky because here in Oregon, a diverse coalition, and I mean diverse in every sense of the word, racially diverse, class diverse, gender diverse, mimicking that beautiful biodiversity that makes nature so strong. This diverse coalition led by people on the front lines of the climate crisis just a few days ago launched the Oregon Clean Energy Opportunity. And let's hear it! Yes! And it's a campaign that will pass 3 bills this year in the Oregon State Legislature. 1, make utilities affordable for all people. Yes. 2, retrofit homes all over the state for sustainability and safety. And 3, create hundreds of good-paying jobs in the renewable energy sector with a focus on racial and class equity. Come talk to me if you want to get involved. Talk to somebody today to get some skin in this game, because now is the time.
Once again, to give up for Susie Castle. You guys see it? Bringing geotech is absolutely rare. Okay? We should be talking about bringing geotech is. Also, next up, we got Daniel Shea. Daniel Shea is the former president of Veterans for Peace. He is the Chapter 72 Portland, Oregon former Veterans for Peace National. He unfortunately served in the United States Marine Corps, MS-031 Machine Gunner. Marine combat veteran 1968, Vietnam Dawn continues to serve as one of the Veterans for Peace National Campaign committees, including Vietnam Agent Orange Week, Responsibility Campaign, Vietnam War Closure, and Save Our VA Healthcare for Privatization. Daniel Shea, everybody.
I'm honored to be here. And, everything's all been said. You guys are all the heroes. Turn out there today, and it's been this movement in the streets that really need politics. There's a Vietnam veteran that let's stop the Vietnam War and the Vietnamese because the real revolution is occupied. We were the occupiers in Vietnam. And it was the anti-war movement in the United States. Like how Ashley had trade orders? That was the January 6th occupation of the White, the Capitol, a sign of revolution? No, that was not a revolution. That was a fascist coup. A racist, white, fascist coup. And there were things that they won, what were they going to do? They're going to put us back in the days of slavery, back in the days of integrated union rights, back in the days of health care for people. So, what happened was that we had people that fought to make sure that they won in Carolina, in Georgia, in various places, to vote for people to overthrow the Republican fascist movement in this country. That was done by people. It was Black Lives Matter. It was union activists. It was a number of people. I'm a veteran for peace. Veterans for Peace is an international organization now. And we are dealing with wars all across the world. I have seen revolutions. I saw the revolution in Vietnam. In 2006, I was down in Venezuela and saw the
Welcome, Kurt. Copernicus to the live. Welcome in, Kurt.
Seeing how people from the indigenous groups, Black, Venezuelans, and others came together to defend their rights as human beings in a capitalist world that was trying to oppress them. It is the same capitalist world that is trying to oppress us. And we need to continue to fight that system that is out there. Now, one of the things I wanted to try and cover is that we're living in unprecedented times. With the United States is currently facing a public health crisis. Appreciate you, Sergeant. No one living right now is experiencing this. COVID-19 virus has already infected hundreds of thousands of lives, interrupted trade, stalled the economy, caused massive cuts and layoffs, forced families apart, isolated others, causing growing risks of fatalities. One reason we weren't prepared for this is since 9/11, terrorist attacks on the World Trade Center in New York City, our representatives ignored our history. That took us into 5 parallel wars and conflicts around the world and declared war on terrorism. We went from Cold Wars, proxy wars in Central America, the Middle East, to wars with nations who blamed for harboring terrorists, and we became invaders, occupiers, and committed all sorts of atrocities, torture, assassinations, to outright murder of innocent women and children. Committed crimes against humanity.
The dollars and lives seem priceless. We put the Pentagon before people, ignored the needs of our own. It's time to put people before the Pentagon. It is time to stop misdirecting hundreds of billions of dollars away from domestic and human needs, to pad unnecessary budgets, to end for endless wars, failed governments, and corporate landmarks. Doing so will make our country stronger and more just. Military spending would be, if it was reduced by at least $200 billion annually, freeing up $2 trillion or more dollars in the next decade for domestic and human priorities. With those kinds of spending cuts, Pentagon budget would remain more than enough to keep America safe. That level is well above the nation's post-World War II average. The U.S. should never again go to war without congressional authorization. Should never go to war. If we adhere to the values of peace, diplomacy, and promoting international cooperation, we can prevent wars by addressing the underlying conflicts and meet the humanitarian imperatives through mutual. Military spending should be reduced at least $200 billion annually, freeing up $2 trillion more in the next decade for domestic and human needs, and put those needs on top of the priorities. Because had the spending cuts, the military budget would remain more than to keep this world safe. Military stresses on our environment, our military activities affect the physical environment and the following areas: pollution, air, land, water, and peace. Immediate and long-term effects on conflicts. Nuclear weapons development and production causes land use issues. No, in addition to the issues of indirect diversion of resources. At $1 billion a year for the budget for the United Nations is one of the highest levels since World War II, more than the next 7 nations in the world combined, 5 of which are the U.S. allies. Even more importantly, the U.S. needs to refrain from making their own. The U.S. post-9/11 years of cash response to $5.9 trillion, including long-term costs like unprepared weapons from these wars and the pain we inflict on the world. Well, I just kind of want to go over. You know, you see it around you. You see this is happening in neighbors and friends. Land is spending for resources we need in our communities. Well paid for the Medicare for all. There's one thing we can do. One thing I've already done is, we want to reduce this military budget. So one of the things that's happening is it's time now people to, we can call or email these congressional representatives, asking them to join the new defense spending reduction package, co-chaired by Representative Copeland and Representative Barbara Lee. It's, we have a wasteful $750 billion military budget, and larger than the military budget since the World Series, actually countries combined. It consumes over 60% of the president's discretionary dollars in funds on endless wars. It's time now to join the caucus. Please contact us with fill out the peace contract and be fruit sword. Now is the time to put people before our time. Whether you want it, Now is the time for Medicare for all. Anyone want it? Thank you. Thank you, Daniel. Let's give it up for Daniel Shane. Also, just for transparency, some of y'all might notice there's some police cars and firefighters on the scene. There's an accident that occurred on Fremont. There's some individuals who are inside of a car that will over. First responders are on the scene addressing the situation right now. But we are going to continue rolling through, and I'll keep y'all posted as we get more information about what's going on. Anyways, next up, we got Max Smith, who's a longtime journalist focused on Northwestern music and hip-hop culture for outlets such as the Oregonian, the Mercury, Vortex Magazine, and his own vehicle, We Out Here Magazine. He is a devoted husband and father. Mac is particularly proud of the fact that he is raising children who understand basketball analogies. When he isn't engaging in activism to defund the police, you can find him in his garden, the one, the only, Max Smith.
The intro, thank you. How you guys doing there? It's kind of like a protest, it's kind of like a rally that's possible, you know. Following us is kind of weird for me. Not gonna lie. Usually when it feels like someone where's the gas, right? There's no gas yet. I guess the gas came earlier, so I think they're in narration for today. I'm not really here to try to hype anybody up. I know it's like election day and all that, or operation day and all that. And people are really hyped about stuff. I'm not really super hyped about anything. We're kind of in a situation that we were before, like 5 years ago, or more like 12 years ago, where we said yes. We started to get black people in office. We got Michelle Obama. She's cool, you know. So, but like, we can't get complacent, because if we do, then we know we have a Trump at the end of this. So it's really, really important people don't get complacent, not just on a national scale, but we have pretty much a tyrant in chief here. I mean, we have Travis Wheeler here. He is everybody's favorite man, right? You guys all love Ted Wheeler, right? You guys are like, yes, Ted Wheeler. You have a Ted Wheeler calendar? You have a calendar? No calendar? Okay. So we have a mayor who won the ability to be mayor by loaning himself money and working with these corporations to just offset our vote so he could win by less than half the vote in a two-way race. We got a mayor who got less than half the vote in a two-way race. This mayor has no power. This mayor has not really been given any kind of majority, you know what I mean? He hasn't been given a majority consensus to rule the city. And to be quite honest with you, even the people who already voted for him, they voted for him hesitantly. He's really got elected in the same way that Trump got voted in. But people were afraid of progress and ran the other way. And a lot of people just stayed home. Right? I mean, a lot of us say, hey, I'm going to vote for Sarah Teresa, that's fine. But to go and vote for Ted, I know those people are kicking themselves now. The same people that can't open their businesses still. The same people that even if there's no protest, these businesses are not opening up because it's COVID. It's not us, right? But they play these games. Ted especially plays these games in the media. He tries to play with us. He tries to trick us. He's out there blasting Costa for pointing at him. He said he got punched. Then he said he got swatted. But he took a picture and his favorite finger like this in his face before his owners. And he said, I'm not going to press charges. And then he goes on TV and says, I think that people who get arrested 6 or 7 times should be brought up on the higher charges. So you want to charge people stronger because they get arrested and found not guilty. Because she swatted you. But you don't want to actually go ahead and press charges yourself because you don't want to go to court and it's stupid. You want the cops to do your job for you, which is what Ted Wheeler always does. So focus on Ted Wheeler over here in the next 4 years. My goal is that Ted Wheeler's not going to make it out of this year. He's not in this area. I realize that if I want to hurt the police, I got to go to the Ted. Ted's not going to school. Ted's not with the program at all. Ted's got his own plans. Ted's like, so if we can get some private partners to come together with some public support, and maybe we can get some more money to talk about it. That's what Ted's doing. Every day. That's what Ted's doing. Don't take your eye off the ball. Every day, that's what Ted's doing. That and getting more and more for the cops. Our job, offset that. Every step of the way. Everything he does. Call Ted. I'm putting together a team where they track Ted's actions every single day. We're going to report how the action does. Tedious effort. I think by myself, quite honestly, I learned to build my mouth every 12 minutes. It's a horrible experience following Ted Wheeler and seeing the doctor. Did you guys see him on a pandemic day? Did you guys see that? Ted Wheeler was out on dates in the pandemic, and some protesters found him and were like, "Fuck you, Ted." And he was like, "No, they have to stay attack me in my days." What are you doing? What's the pandemic? You're supposed to be the mayor. You're closing people's businesses and they're mad at us. Ted Wheeler takes no blame for anything. And the same thing he does to us, he does to the people that voted for him. He does it for the right too. He does it to the right too. He tells them, "Okay, we talk about the protesters," and then he apologizes the next day. But then he tells us he apologizes the next day. He goes back and says, "Let's go for the protesters." So we're like, okay. So we're always as all for me. Ted Wheeler does what's smart for us is the majority. And that's the trick. We have to stop giving him attention where he wants us to give him attention. And we have to start giving him attention where he doesn't want to be in the news. The more we work on that, he asks too much. Thank you for helping me. Just don't